Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our second day of our 2026 edition of Front Row. Today is our second day, and we started off in a beautiful way with Vogue Italia. The theme of this year is beautiful failures, which means exactly that. Like, how can mistakes and errors become something that is intrinsic to the value of your work? So today we will discuss the aesthetics of error with our two guests. And for whom of you is, of course, of the Master Fashion Styling course, this will be also the launch of your industry project with Vogue Italia. So the details we will explain later in a lecture with Carlos, who will get you deeper into the theme. And today we want to listen to our guests who represent, of course, Vogue Italia, and therefore work with this magazine since a long time and have a lot of experience in also the theme that we are discussing today. So I would like to ask to the stage Ariel Camara Bretas and Elisa Parvinca Bellini. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Super happy to be here, excited in this amazing space with a lot of talented people that maybe will be our colleagues in the future, who knows? More colleagues of Ariel, maybe.
Yes, of course.
Because I take care of everything related to news, so more about writing, and Ariel is our star about styling. So I will just leave the stage to Ariel. The presentation is going to be, I hope, also for you as it was for me when I saw it for the first time, absolutely, let's say, convincing and interesting, because the concept, we discuss a lot about the concept of beautiful failure. What is failure? What is error? It exists or not? So I will leave to Ariel to explain.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Ariel Bretas. I work at Vogue Italia as a fashion contributor, and I'm 32 years old. I'm from Brazil, and I live in Italy for 6 years now. And my fashion, I put that because I made an year in Vogue, and I'm 32, so I thought it was funny, but maybe it's not. The fun fact is that I didn't start at fashion at all. My mom, yes, but I didn't. I started as my dad wanted me to be a lawyer, and I started since 16 to make internships where he worked in the United States. But I always loved fashion. I always bought Vogue. It was really late when I arrived at my small city of 5 million people in Brazil, and I also bought Vogue Brazil a lot, and it was my reference. My family was super against, but I don't give a damn. And I decided to leave my lawyer career after I got a scholarship to study in Milan, and I made a sabbatical year, and I decided that I had to go to fashion. So I talked to my parents, and they say, perfectly fine, you have to find a school that you have to go afterwards. So I tried to study in Belgium. Wasn't that nice. It wasn't a yes. And then I went to study in Brazil. And this was really funny because in Brazil we have to work and study. We cannot only study. So I talked to a teacher that I loved, and she said to me, babe, you should start styling. And she gave me an opportunity to start working at Harper's Bazaar. So I started as a junior editor there. In my first year, I was so honored. I met a lot of friends and started in the industry. It was so really potent to be with them and trying to see everything in Brazil. But out of the sudden, I decided to come back to Italy. And it was an amazing moment because they were a scholarship that I could try to do it again, and I passed again, and I came. And Vogue was all interested in that because they were the ones who made it happen. Sara and Elisa and Paula Arberg, I don't know if you remember Paula. They all made it happen for me, and I started, and then unfortunately we had the coronavirus now. And I had my master's in that time. It was a terrible time for the world, but it was a really time for learning for me. And it was really fun because I had the opportunity to start to focus, study a lot, and to afterwards trying to understand that. But I wanted to show you guys, this was my first bazaar for digital editorial. It was the first time my boss said, okay, you can try to do it yourself. You guys can see it's not, I mean, I think it's good, I don't know. Maybe yes. Sometimes I look at it and say, oh, awful. But I mean, it's part of the game. When you're studying, you're always learning, so you always learn with that. And this was made with a dear friend of mine who is not a photographer anymore. He's working in Colombia for psychology. And the mother's my friend, and she lives in Milan. And it was fun to do that in Brazil. And I remember I stole all the clothes from the closet from Harper's, and they love that. I will sue someone if I do that, but they love it. So that was really fun. And this period of master was really important because it made me think what I should do and what should I become. And I started to also, again, talk to Vogue, and they started inviting me for some projects that I'll show you afterwards. And it was really nice because I managed to finish by myself, and it was incredible experience in that period, and have the support of my family and my boyfriend. It was awesome. And it was fun because after that, I started to do an internship at Vogue. It was my first experience at internshipping. I, in the between, worked for Luisa Villaroma for styling, and I was assisting other projects, but this was the time that I was there, and I really want to say that fashion is group. It's a group work, okay? So you're never alone. If you think you're a star and you're alone, no. And I saw that in office when someone say, oh, you did an amazing job. I say, you don't know how many people are besides me to work with me. So I'm not doing this by myself. I didn't do it better because I was alone. So it's a teamwork. It's really important for me because we now in Vogue say that we are a family because she asked my help. So you ask.
Yeah, always, always. I mean, this is really important, I think, not just for this project you're going to do for the mentorship, but generally speaking in life. This is super true what Ariel was saying, that we are a team and you will be somebody just working with somebody else. So if you don't, let's say, grow your community, your network of friends or contributors or people that you trust and they trust you, there's no way to get to that point. Sorry.
And no, it's okay, it's perfect. And also, be nice, guys. If you're nice, everything is better because you don't know what other people are passing through. So we always try to be nice and try to understand empathy in a way. So, as Miuccia Prada, that we all love, I hope you all love, says, study, watch movies, read. I don't watch TV shows, that's a pity, but I read a lot, and that's a thing that I love, and watch all the movies. I remember in the Masters, we were in lockdown, of course, but my favorite thing was, Pasolini. You're in Italy. Pasolini. Let's watch everything that he made to see also how a creative grows, not only fashion. It's easy to pick up a book and say, oh, she made this show in 19s and now to okay. But if you've seen everywhere, people grow. You grow. You just saw my first work, and I will show you my last work. So you're going to see the difference. Also how I approach styling and everything. So it's really important to do everything. Be curious.
Be curious, like we were discussing a little bit before about the last weeks that, as you can imagine, it was hectic with a lot of appointments, meetings, fashion show, and also interview. I was lucky enough to interview two super nice people in different paths of their career. For example, one is Nicola Brognano, that maybe you all know, is now creative director of Seven for All Mankind, but he was in Blue Marine. He was, founder of his own brand, and he was student at Istituto Marangoni. And parentheses, he told me so many beautiful stuff about Istituto Marangoni, and he told me that when he was 10 years old, he was already thinking about his future as only designer. I don't want to be anything else. And he was saying, I was looking for the best school, and my only choice was Marangoni, but closing the parentheses. Yeah. And Nicola if I asked her, what do you want to suggest for a new generation, what they have to do? And he told me, they have to be curious, they have to look around, as Ariel was saying. And then a few days later, I was interviewing another person, Martin Lotti, that he is the creative director of Nike, so completely different market, let's say, different, ideas of what is fashion and performance plus fashion and blah, blah, blah. And he was telling me, you know what made me survive in Nike and to start Nike was I was curious. I tried to enter, and I was lucky enough to enter. And still, I take all my team around in the world. They were planning a trip to Asia. They've been to Iceland, and in every situation, they look everything else except fashion. So I was asking, okay, so you go to Iceland, you go to Reykjavik Fashion Week? You say, absolutely not. We just look around, looking at what is interesting in lifestyle, food, places, design, and the last thing we see, and we never have a look of fashion, because if you see only fashion, you will try to copy. You will be inspired, especially if you like something. So our trip, he was telling me, is just outside fashion. And be curious is the main focus.
No, it's true that you say that, because when I do a mood board, I don't put fashion. Only if you're a posing reference and beauty, of course, but I hate it because you cannot do it. Like I did one now that for another personal project, and it was about Guido Guidi. I don't know if you guys are aware, but it's a photographer from Italy who's still alive, really good. So search for arts, for everything. It's like 360. John Galliano, he never looks at fashion. He looks at dolls, flea markets. Also, Jonathan Anderson, he doesn't look for fashion, he looks for worlds. And you can see also the last show of Chanel and Matteo Blasi, he's inspired by mushrooms. So, you can trip whatever you want, actually. It's not a problem. Before starting my intern at Vogue at 2020-21, that was my first project that I did with them. This was my first cover. I remember Francesca calling me and say, I know you're in masters and finishing, but we need someone to go to take this bull by the horn. And I went to Napoli with an amazing team, and we made this happen. And it was incredible because we're two models, we were running around Napoli. I never have been to Napoli at the time, I have to say, and I didn't know anything, and it was so chaotic. And I remember everyone was so happy, and Napoli won the World Soccer Cup. I don't know anything about soccer, but he won anything of soccer, and it was really exciting, and everyone tried to shoot with us in that time. This is only the cover, who is really nice and clean here, but it was something. It was intense, and we loved that. And before I say anything, I left Vogue after my internship and started working at Corriere della Sera, with Giorno here in Milan. I worked there 1 year and a half as an assistant, and I talked to my boss one day and say, can I grow? Can I become an editor? And he said, no. And I said, bye. And then Francesca from Vogue called me and said, yo, you want to work for Lorenzo Posocco? And I say, of course. So I worked with Dua Lipa for a year. We made Houdini together. That was the main project that I loved to work. I didn't put that because I didn't want to put that, but I came back for Vogue after 1 year with Dua Lipa because I think it was more my dimensions, I'd say that, but put it that way. On December, we shoot some interesting projects that I will put it here as failure. I just want to say, guys, failure doesn't exist. My motto for Vogue is there is never a problem, always a solution, okay? So don't please consider failure. Let's be gentle to yourselves at least once. We are already harsh on us, so let's try to be gentle to ourselves and then to our team. But I want to put it that Martin left us 4 days after the shooting. So it was the last time someone shooted with him, and it was an honor to work with him on set. It was chaotic. We were in the middle of nowhere. But we made these amazing pictures, as you can see, and everything was a beautiful mistake, let's put it that way, because the dog walked whenever he wants. These two guys were Sheen and were invited to participate. The set design, the models were crazy. We have a room not packed of clothing. I think I took to the mountains in a she-board 25 suitcases of clothing, and we should, seriously, I was all over the place, but it was so much fun, and I met amazing people on set. That's the thing about sets as well. Try to make friends. Now I have friends that I wouldn't always remember. And this is the cover from that issue. I also was on set 2 days later, no, 1 week later, sorry. And it was really fun because the team was all Brazilian and people who I admire. And this cover was in the middle of the snow, and this poor little girl, who is Anwar, who is one amazing top model. You interview her?
Not yet.
Okay, you're gonna do it. I know that. She's an amazing person. She accepted everything. She was in the snow with high heels, and we love that. And I wanna show you guys this photo, which is incredible, which was a tool that I bought in my bag, because afterwards we can talk about bags and assistancy, because guys, it has to have everything. I take suitcases of stuff. There is tutorials online, but we can make a check. I love to check. So this was my view of the photo. I was in a stair in the middle of the snow with the poor hairdresser who has to put the wind like this. It was really, really sexy, let's put it that way. And we made this happen. So it's not a failure because it was all improv, but everything happened. It's a magic. We always say to Francesca, it's the magic of Vogue. Vogue make you magic. So let's not put failure. Let's put magic. And this is my face, really tired after putting back 25 suitcases by myself and bringing back to the mountain. There was the chaos inside, you can see. Important for the luggage, always put the brands that you are bringing back so you know what they are if the PRs are crazy. This is really nice because the same tool we took and the hairdresser made a rose. And look how amazing the picture is. I love that. That's not a failure. That's just improv. But it's a beautiful failure as we are speaking. And on the 22nd of December, I had the privilege to do my first editorial for Vogue, right, by myself. Maria, Marta, Elisa, and Francesca, they allowed me this. It was like a Christmas gift. And this was my first moment that I did everything by myself. And you can see a lot of beautiful failures here because we have the IKEA bench from the studio who we put it, and we have so little. We have the books from where we were, so we tried to make it happen. And Elisa, I have worked with her. She's a model and she's a dear friend, and the photographer also was a dear friend. So I call my friends and say, help me out, guys. Connections, that's important also. And we made these photos, and I really enjoyed to do it. We did close to the office, so we were at home. We could come back, have a coffee, wait for Christmas, have a panettone, excuse. And it's really funny because this photo, I just put her almost naked. It doesn't make any sense in an editorial, but I thought it would make sense. And this little guy here, who she's seated, is my boyfriend's most precious thing because he's a designer. Post-Stark bench, chair, I don't know how to put it, and then I bring it and hide it from him, and he found out in the magazine, so it was fun. And it's really important that you guys feel that you have to have fun also at work. I don't know, I have fun all the time with her, so you can see we had so much fun. It was improv, it could be a failure, but it wasn't. So we're Vogue, we just have fun.
A lot. That's why we're still there, because it's complicated and the days are long, the work is hard, but still, yeah.
We take photos and have fun whenever we can. Thank you.
If you have any question for Ariel, we are happy to. He is happy to answer, as she was
Depends on the
explaining
question,
before.
Yes, so we wanted to give more time also to the Q&A, especially for the Master Fashion Styling students who will work with Ariel. And so thank you very much for sharing everything what you were sharing with us. The storytelling also, like in the PPT, is amazing.
Oh yeah, because we do that on Vogue.
Yeah.
And we see the errors and we put post-its online or not. So I thought you guys, I can take a little bit of that, no? And I love to do that with everything. When I'm reading, I put everything in my books. I don't have it here now, but I will show you guys in one moment. It's all magazines to remember, because I forget things sometimes.
And this is so related to errors, and
Yes.
the beautiful errors, because when they final check the channel, I don't know how to translate in English, so sorry, so that the final pages as they will be published, the final check, we make the little yellow, say, stitch, and this is, please check again if it's written like this, or this info seems to me quite, not so 100% sure, are you sure, and blah, 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 so we will chat also through the post-it.
Yeah, and it's also interpretation of the team. If you guys are working on mood board, depends on the team that you choose. Try to interpret it. It's also the graphics. It's really important. Like Miuccia Prada, Giorgio Armani, Max Mara, they always think also of the graphics and how to represent it. So something for the future, and we don't have to talk about it now. Let's do the Q&A, right?
No, I love that you communicate through the post-its. It's like really cute. It's like an analog WhatsApp. Very nice. Can I just ask, so I started off with the questions while you think about your questions. And I wanted to know, is it sometimes when you go to the fashion shows, it's like you were saying before, which we also find completely correct, is like to start from a primary research and not a secondary one, which is like really in art, in movies, and so on. Because if you look only at fashion, it's like only autoreferenziale, it's like self-absorbing and nothing really new can happen. But are they, especially since we are in Milano Fashion Week right now, it's just finished, do you have sometimes ideas that come like from a fashion show where you say like, oh my God, this theme is like so particular, I want to create a shoot around it?
Actually, in Vogue, we try to always talk to each other to understand what's going to be the trend. So our team is really keen on it. You can confirm, right?
Yeah. We have a chat. We will cancel this information, but we have Vogue Drama as a chat where we will share ideas, birthdays, but also during Fashion Week is like exchange ideas. So who is in front row is giving some suggestion. Usually we have backstage, so maybe the social team, maybe the stylists, maybe the fashion editors are going backstage, so they send something in advance. And yes, I'm not the one that shoots, but we have a lot of meetings as a fashion team before, during, and after the fashion week when we will collect the trends. Usually it's not maybe one fashion show, but can be, for example, like Miu Miu with the apron was a big trend. So that was itself a trend, but usually we speak a lot about what we are seeing, and at the end of the fashion week there is the big team meeting, 2 hours, it's a lot, together and speaking about what we have seen during fashion week.
I love it. So it's like a continuous brainstorming on the WhatsApp group. Okay.
No, and actually it's funny because the brainstorming never ends. Because, for example, if I'm having dinner with a friend and he says, oh, there is this location that I love, he sent me the link, I get crazy, and I send in a group. So we are always saying, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, especially, and everyone is okay with it. Like everyone gives an opinion, so it doesn't have hierarchy. Everyone is listen. If you're intern and you say, "Oh, can I do that way?" We're gonna listen to it because a good idea, it's always a good idea. Is a teamwork.
Yeah, I was thinking when we read about the Bottega Veneta inspiration for Louise Trotter, that how important for her in this process Milan was. I was instantly thinking like, oh, we will have more shootings around Milan, the city, maybe, you know. Okay, who wants to ask a question? Can you say your name?
Hi, my name is Nazlı. So I wanted to ask you, especially with the digital world changing right now and the magazines are not being that popular as it was before. I know we were discussing it back in my country that now we have a lot of cover sponsorships and everything. And is this a limitation for you? Like they told me it was. And how you manage your way and your creativity around it with this kind of limitations?
I think if you work in anything, you're gonna have limitations. So for example, if you're gonna buy cheese, and I say, I wanna buy goat cheese, they have to give you goat cheese, no? I always say that to my team as well. I say, oh, he didn't do the job, how come? Because it's not a limitation. If you're creative, everything is possible. You have to do the best in that concept. So if they say to you, oh, you have to shoot this jewel for Bulgari, you don't like it. You say, I'm gonna make the best one. Because you're gonna represent you in a way. So, oh yeah, negatively said, oh, it's limiting. It's not like in the 19s that you can do whatever. True, but time's changing and we change with them. I think it's gonna be a comeback of the analog because we're gonna be so tired. I think social media is something that it has to be really studied and taken care of because of our mental health. I get in spirals, babe, that I'm like, oh my God. So don't worry about it. Just be concentrated on your work and doing your best in that thing. If it's ugly, it doesn't represent you, try to do the best of it. I cannot tell the stuff that I have to do that was not representing me, let's put it that way. But we tried to make it happen, and I was proud of it. So that's why you deliver. Hi.
No, so my question is how to, as creators, sometimes we are a little bit perfectionist with our work, and it's a little bit hard to put your stuff out there when you don't think it's perfect. And since we're talking about aesthetic of error, which are the steps do you think that someone needs to go through to get over that paralysis of the perfection, that it needs to be perfect in order to be out in the public?
Perfection doesn't exist, you know that, right? It's really tough. My word of advice, what I do, I hate everything I do sometimes. Like, no! But word of advice, everything you do, it's not gonna be what you wanna do. Like, since you're working with people, not AI, I hope, you're working with people, everything wouldn't have to be in a way. Again, be gentle to yourself here because, of course, I know you're putting the best, you want the best, but it's not going to be the same as you imagine, okay? And you learn every day to improve that. One day you like blue, the other day you like black, and what's the problem with that? Put yourself out there, okay? Put it, because we're going to want to see you. I want to see you in the best way possible, and you're going to grow. You just saw it. I mean, I don't know if you prefer before or after, but I mean, just grow. It's important. And if you make a mistake, it's amazing because you're trying. I prefer people who try and make a mistake and then you ask humbly back than people who think they know everything or they don't want to put yourself out there or afraid. Don't be afraid. Who's judging you? No one. Only yourself, so don't judge it.
Grazie.
You could think in the meanwhile.
Ciao Ariel, ciao Elisa. It was so inspiring to hear your story, and I think a lot of us related with you today. You said something very beautiful, that there's never a problem and there's always a solution. I feel that that's beautiful, but where do we draw the line that an error is beautiful or not? Like sometimes if we say that if we're adoring errors so much, won't that somehow tell us that, oh, we can let ourselves lose and we can let ourselves make mistakes and not try to grow more because our error would be appreciated? So where do we draw that line, if the error is okay or not?
No, actually, it's not a line. When you're doing a work, and again, teamwork, guys, sorry to repeat, but it's true. And when you're doing a teamwork and you have like, oh, I want to shoot something spiral, let's look at this amazing place, you guys are so blessed. Like Marie Antoinette comes to my mind. It's a teamwork you guys have prepared before. There is all the, like the stylist has to they make the research of the clothing, and the makeup artist have the research of the model, and you have to search for the model, and the photographer have to understand lighting or which light he should perspect. You have a guideline, but then this guideline, as he thinks is perfect, it's not going to be, because on the day it will rain, and the day it will be super sunny. The model party all night and arrived wrecked. Happens a lot. And in this process, who is already perfect, you're going to find some challenges. That's not failure. That's just a way that you have to deal with that situation in a different prospect, okay? So it's easy.
Yeah, switch the attitude. Sometimes you see collection and you see the designer describing and you say, I was expecting something different. But the attitude, how they present their collection, you say, okay, I agree. You agree because you're feeling that this person is so convinced that maybe if he's doing error, they are beautiful error. Maybe it's because the situation around is like that. So it's going to be cool at the end. So it's more about attitude than the final result from my point of view, no?
Be gentle to yourself.
Yes, and an error is only a real error if you don't learn from it, because the error is being used to grow from it, right? And also very, very often, I don't know, I have many colleagues, or I know many professionals who are like super micromanaging and perfectionists. However, sometimes if you don't go through like the planning, but you allow something risky becoming an error, there sometimes is like the sweet spot of something, finding something new and unexpected that otherwise you would not find if you only look for perfection. Okay?
Can I ask where you guys from? Because you didn't say, and I'm curious. Where are you from? Turkey. Nice, I love Turkey. I have clients from Turkey. Yes, I love the delights. How do you call it? Special delights. How do you call it? It's amazing. This
Turkish delights.
So good. You? Where are you from? I'm from Dominican Republic. Nice, really nice. My brother lives in Puerto Rico, so it's kind of close, right? Yeah, next to it. Yes, next to it. You? Nice.
Hi, thank you for your talk today. I'm from India. So I have a question about your opinion on, as stylists, I think it's our job to be understanding of the trends and what's happening in the fashion world. But at the same time, we want to come up with our own creative ideas and look at something outside of fashion as well. What's your opinion on how we navigate this complicated relationship? Because we need to be contemporary, we need to be the voice of the contemporary world, but at the same time, we cannot lose the creative essence in that. So how do you advise us to navigate this relationship of trend and creativity?
I used to admire a lot Giselle Bündchen. Sorry. Because she taught me something when I was a kid that was really important, because you can create personas. This is not a bipolar disorder. Sorry, I promise it's not to joke about this, but because it's really serious. But saying that, she said, create your persona. So for example, if you have to enjoy a job and work for a job right now, the persona is Phoebe Philo. So let's absorb that. You're a stylist, you can play with it. I used to play a lot to go out as characters. Like, for example, I saw a movie with Judy Garland, I want to dress like her. So how's she dressed? So foulard, black, just going around like her, having fun. Have fun. You don't have to be so mean again to yourself. Guys, sorry, repeating. Sorry, I know. I can put a jar with the money, so every time I repeat something, I put, and we donate afterward. But the thing is, you don't have to lose your creative self. You're a creative person, so do your creative what you want. I have a friend, who's a photographer, who I want you guys to meet. I love him. He's called Alessandro, and he called me this day and say, "Oh, Ariel, I'm so tired of doing tendons and then photographing. I want to do something by myself." And I say, "Let's do it. What are you waiting for? Just do it." I call my friends and say, "Give me your stuff for free. I don't give a damn. I give you material. You're going to have fun. Just have fun. Or if you want to do creative yourself, pick up your own stuff. Call a store that you love and say, can I please beg you make material with my friends? If you like, you can use it in your line, but let me express my creativity." Do it without expecting to be in a line. You can do whatever you want. Hope I answered that.
What a beautiful way to end the sentence, to end the talk with. We don't end it. We have one other question, the last one.
Thank you. As we were speaking about the beautiful failures, last semester we worked on our main shooting about l'estetica dell'errore, and we made our concepts around it, and I think we were like 40 people. We had such a different stories and explorations, research about this subject especially. And I think that in the end, we found that error is also very subjective, and the finding the beautiful part of it is also very subjective. Also with our class and our professors, we found that. I wanted to know about this, like your side of the subjectivity, like how do you find this, so maybe in your also team, that something talks to someone and something doesn't. So like, how do you find a midway for that?
Well, two things that come to my mind when you say that. First of all, there was this philosopher that is really nice, called Umberto Eco. I don't know if you guys know him. He made 2 books, The History of Beauty and History of Ugly, who puts in a very nice light everything, because we have, what is ugly? He puts such an amazing things there from 100 years to come and before. So it's really subjective, this thing, because it depends on your point of view. And also, there is people who don't think they are wrong, right? And they are. But I think you have to have very empathy, because maybe when you're working and you see something that you don't like or you don't represent yourself, try to talk to your colleague, maybe separate it if you feel that it's also something more deep, and try to empathize. Because maybe, he didn't like your attitude 3 days ago and he's putting back on your project, okay? So you have to be very diplomatic. I think help me out a little bit, diplomacy on that, because it helps you. You have to always understand it. You have to grow with them. Because if they don't grow, you don't grow. So try to be empathy in the size and see if there is difference. And also if a different thing in your project is amazing. Like, it's not only your perspective here. You're going to see photographers love to give their opinion. But it's really important, because if you're not mooting to do it, it's not going to do it. So try to be empathized with people. That's my advice for this.
Thank you so much, Parvinka, Ariel. This was a beautiful talk and a beautiful beginning for this mentorship. So thank you very much for sharing your personalities and your wisdom with us here today. And I can already see that there's a lot of passion coming your way in the project.
I'm excited. Can't wait.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.